Welcome to the Ton of Tone Podcast. Ton of Tone Podcast, where we sit and talk with local artists about guitars, gear, and everything music. Turn up your volume and enjoy the show.
All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Ton of Tone Podcast, number 3, with the one and only Chavez from Chain Wolf. Give it up. Give it up. Yeah. Gotta have the applause. That's like my favorite thing. All right, so a quick little background about Chavez, man. This guy actually brought me one of his basses, I think it's a couple months ago, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So he brought one of his basses, had me install some pickups in there. Super cool cat. Saw that he was coming out with an album at the time, and he just dropped it not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, right at the end of October.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So new album, and super cool cat. So tell me about yourself, Chavez. Let everybody know a little bit about yourself, how you got started in music, and how you ended up where you are now.
Cool, yeah. So, like most contemporary musicians that I know, started playing guitar, started playing bass as a teenager. Played a lot of high school cover bands and stuff, and it's one of those things that I just kept going on with, and played in different bands in my 20s, and I think I'm finally hit my stride with being a musician, with being in a band, playing bigger shows, playing festivals now, setting up tours.
Nice.
So
heck yeah, man. And how was your experience, like growing up with various musicians and stuff like that? Was it kind of like you were just kind of doing backyard shows, or kind of any kind of niche style you were more into back then, and kind of progressively got into it till now? Or
I've always very much played like heavy metal cover songs, like a lot of
Nice.
Megadeth, a lot of Metallica, a lot of Misfits, a lot of I played in a band that played just a bunch of like random metal shit. So it would just be like, okay, here's a Misfit song, and then we're gonna go into like a Rammstein song, and then
oh, that's awesome.
so it was just kind of like
yeah.
you end up getting really good in playing a bunch of different styles like that.
Okay.
So it was cool, and then the most like significant band I was in was this group called Fender's Ballroom Band, and that was in my mid 20s, like 20, 21, 22, something like
Nice.
that. And those guys showed me how to be like a musician. Like instead of just being like some dumb kid playing bass, they showed me how to be like a bass player.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super cool. And how was your experience with them? I know for myself, kind of playing with a different caliber of musician, it kind of puts you in like a disciplined state of mind. But how was that experience for you? Was it more like, oh shoot, like I gotta kind of step it up, or how was that?
Yeah, it was definitely like a, hey man, like I know you've played in like jam bands and cover bands, but we're trying to be like a tribute band. And
Nice.
there's that whole difference between like, here's a band playing somebody else's songs, and like, hey, we're this group, we're gonna play a bunch of songs, but they need to be done correctly.
Yeah.
Like you got to practice when you're at home and not be fucking around when we're out here in the studio and stuff.
Heck yeah.
So it's one of those things, and if it wasn't for that band, I wouldn't have nearly the work ethic that I have going into Chain Wolf.
Nice. Heck yeah. And so did that band kind of inspire you to kind of venture off onto doing your own stuff and kind of get more creatively into your style with Chain Wolf, or how was that?
Yeah, so that basically gave me the building blocks of like how to play like classic thrash metal. Like we used to do a bunch of like early Exodus songs.
Cool.
We used to do a bunch
That's
of like,
rad.
We used to do like early Slayer songs. We did like a Merciful Fate medley that nobody had done before.
Damn, that's
So,
cool. Yeah.
To be able to play all 3 of those artists back to back in the same set list, and then play like some Suicidal Tendencies and like some Venom tracks, and then a couple of Bathory tunes, like that will get you really good really fast, especially when you're doing it. Like I was the kid at that point, like quite literally, and most of these other dudes were dudes from the 80s who were kids in the 80s. So so these dudes are all like 50-year-old man, like, dude, knock it off.
Yeah.
Like, cut that shit out. Like,
Yeah.
hey man, like, change your strings before you get to the lockout, or get to the lockout early and fucking change your strings and be ready, and etc.
Yeah.
You know,
That's awesome, man. And how was was there like a particular moment that you knew that you were like, damn, like, okay, this is really, really serious? And like, because like for me, there was a moment when I was younger where I was playing with a lot of older musicians, and it kind of made me like, oh shit, like I don't want to mess around anymore, like there's kind of like there's those things. But I think for me, I think it was at the Knitting Factory where I don't think it's around anymore, but I played a show there with my dad, and I was like, oh shit. Like, fuck, like I got the chills there. I was like, damn, I got to step it up. And, that's where a lot of the gear stuff kind of started clicking with me and kind of becoming more serious. Cause I think everybody kind of starts off with like, kind of a shitty amp and, a shitty bass or a guitar. And it's like, but what was that defining moment for you that you were like, oh shit, like, yeah, I'm going to do everything they're telling me to do now because it makes sense.
I think just kind of like coming into those rooms and like knowing that you're playing with dudes twice your age who've been playing for as long as you've been alive, like it's kind of like let's not waste their time and stuff. Yeah. And one of the reasons that they hired me on for that band is because they were, they sent me like this 30-track song list and like, oh, here's everything, come in. I think it was like Wednesdays. It was like, come in on let us know when you want to come in on a Wednesday. Yeah. And we'll see what you got. And then I came in, I think, knowing like 10 songs. And they were like, dude, you came in knowing 10 songs? Like, we were used to dudes coming in knowing like 2. Damn. And I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, is that good? Is that bad? Like, talk to me. Like, I don't know what you're expecting. And it was just one of those like, no, like if you're willing to do that on your free time, like then let's fucking go. And then from there, like, cause at that time too, like, I'm not sure if I had my signature Ampeg yet, but I was just like, okay, cool. Like I had like a Gallon Kruger, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That's when I was like, yeah.
GK life.
yeah. I was like, okay, like cool. I found one of those for like $120, and I was like,
nice.
All right, cool. Like I'll do. Like that was definitely when I was still looking, when I was working minimum wage, and I was still hunting on Craigslist. Like, oh, what can I get for like $100, $200? Like, like $200 still seemed like a lot of money at that point in time. Yeah, heck yeah. I was just like, like. I feel that, yeah. So then like, but once you kind of like get into it, and I'm just like, okay, cool. Like I've outgrown the GK. Like what, hey guys, what do you think is like a good amp? Like you want a professional amp, get an Ampeg. Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. And I saved every penny that I had. Yeah. Working this bullshit minimum wage like car wash job. Yeah. And it took me fucking months. It took me months and an installment plan to get a fucking Ampeg. But I've had that Ampeg ever since, and I still use it.
That's awesome. And what year was that roughly?
Like 2013, 2014.
Nice. Dude, that's such a prime time because I used to be a fucking mad scavenger on fucking Craigslist. Like, I remember back in the day, you had, I mean, it's still like this now, but the emailing people was like, fucking trying to find a deal and shit and doing all that stuff. And installment plans weren't that big back then. No, There's weren't. A lot of different companies now. So, I mean, I could understand how the struggle was fucking real.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. Yeah. And so you got the Ampeg. Was there like a upgrade in bass back then too, or what were you rocking with then?
At that point, I was still rocking like $100 basses, $200 basses, like whatever I can find. Like shit that like I had a Rogue bass. Like
that's cool.
Yeah, like who the fuck is Rogue bass? Like so I had one of those, and eventually they were just like, bro, like, here's a Rickenbacker, just fucking, just take care of it.
Hell yeah!
Like you can use it. You can use it when you're in the room. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's fine,
dude. Dude, that's fucking awesome, man. And so like jamming with those guys, how was that whole era for you? Was it like you guys were gigging every weekend, or do you guys have like a residency somewhere, or how was that?
Well, for that, it was one of those things where it was like, we were trying to play like the tribute show circuit. So we were trying to get into like the Santa Fe Springs Swap Meet. Like we opened a couple of shows with like Hyrax and Witch Haven. Nice. And that was at the, I forget what venue that was, but I think they call it like the Ukraine Center now, but I forget what name that it had.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that, but that's cool.
Yeah. So we would play like these weird, like, oh, we need an opening band. You guys are a cool trippy band. Like, let's go. Like one time we played up in North Hollywood, and we were playing with like a Slayer tribute band, and then it
That's
was like us with like the general like 80s thrash, and then there was like a couple of like original like thrash metal bands too. So like it was all heavy metal all night, but
Yeah.
you know, there was just two cover bands at the front and at the end.
Damn, that's super cool, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's super cool. And throughout that time, was it something that that didn't get old for you? Because sometimes kind of doing like a playing the same songs over and over was for at least for me, like in my band now, like we try to change up our set now and then.
Right, right.
So was there a time where you guys just kind of explored with more songs and different kinds of songs and stuff?
Well, it was like I said, we had like a 30 song like booklet,
Nice.
and it was just
Okay.
like, just hit the fucking shuffle button, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna do that one. Right?
Yeah, it's like we
That's
had
cool.
90 minutes worth of music, and we had like
Damn.
25 to 30 minute slot. Like that shit didn't like repeat very often.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's super cool. So, after you stopped playing with those guys, what did you venture off into? More like solo kind of stuff, or playing with other bands?
Yeah, so at that point when I started getting my chops up, and it was kind of towards like the tail end of my time with that band, like I was doing a lot of like hardcore punk, I was doing a lot of straight edge stuff, and that's like really what had my attention at the time. So I was in a couple like straight edge bands in like my mid to late 20s.
Nice.
And then I had started this other band I had started like in my late 20s to like right before I'd started doing Chain Wolf, which is kind of like a predecessor of Chain Wolf, because it was very much like hardcore punk with elements of like speed metal and thrash.
Cool.
So we would be like too punk and too hardcore to play like these metal shows.
Yeah.
But then we would be like too metal to be playing like these power violence shows and stuff.
Oh shoot.
So it was just kind of like we always had this weird step, and like I remember this other band, we got booked on like a punk versus ska set, and
yeah.
these ska
That sounds
bands,
like That
you know,
sounds like 2013, 14, 15.
yeah.
Vibes right there, yeah.
This is like 2019, 20.
Oh, shoot,
Yeah,
okay,
like very
nice.
very recently.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, okay, so so you're telling me that this fucking like almost power violence band who has 1.5 to 2 minute songs is gonna play a versus set with a ska band that has like a 4 minute song. Like yo,
Yeah.
you want me to take a nap between sets and shit? Like, come on, you know, like.
Yeah.
But I got used to being mismatched like that
Yeah.
all the time.
That's
So I was
cool,
just like,
man.
all right, cool.
Yeah, I know where was that at actually? That battle right there. Was that in LA?
It's a backyard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of that kind of like challenge stuff happening back in the day. I always thought it was so interesting because the ska is like, I think it's just like the ska core scene.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of those guys from LA and stuff like that. It used to trip me out and be like, oh, fuck. I mean, they have some heavy sounds sometimes with
Yeah.
guitars, you know, but very, very interesting. So after you were kind of playing there, how did it lead up to where you are now as far as Chain Wolf and recording in the album, and how was that process for you actually recording?
So getting from that band into Chain Wolf, like I had already established the work ethic. I had already established like, this is how I write music.
Okay.
This is like, I would put myself in a box of like, okay, I'm in like this like kind of like fast hardcore or kind of metal, kind of power violence, and I'll kind of like try to stick to that. And I had actually ended up quitting music for like a year and a half.
Okay.
So
and around what time was that right there?
like 2020,
Okay. Yeah.
like most of 2020, like because we had played like one show during the pandemic, like in August during that first year of the pandemic, and then I said, you know what, fuck this, like
Yeah.
I got frustrated with my bandmates. I almost burned all of those bridges, and but I mean, we're all still friends now, like after some time and some healing has had occurred, but yeah, after that I was like, you know what, fuck, like I talked to one of my close friends, and he was just telling me, he's like, dude, you're way too talented a musician to not be fucking playing music anymore.
Yep.
And he's like, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what's in your head, what's up your ass or whatever, but like figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, get back to writing music, get back to doing what you're doing. Cause like, he's like, you're too young and you're too talented to be throwing the shit away.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. I was like, all right. What, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. One thing I do kind of want to say on that. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people like during that kind of have a similar thing where like the pandemic really did a lot to them, you know? And I feel like it was obviously intense for everybody, but it was something that like it kind of made you get away from what made you grounded, if that makes any sense, you know?
Yeah, I get
and I
that.
feel like the music has, I have a lot of friends that are getting back into music again and, you know, kind of testing, you know, their ideas out again. And I'm like, awesome, man. Like, it's so great to see so much more love towards it again because I know, including myself, man, I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the same. Like, I was like trying to make music, but I was like, I'm not, you know, I'm not really feeling it, you know? It's just kind of a weird time, but that's awesome that your friend was like down enough to tell you something, you know?
Yeah.
Cause I mean, it's fucking hard, man.
Yeah,
It's hard
yeah.
to sometimes take even positive criticism to like your music and things like that. Cause nobody really knows how the music is to you.
Yeah.
You know, like it's such a personal thing. And I feel like most people don't really get that. Like, I don't want to say the general public, but if you've never sat with an instrument for hours,
Yeah.
like for years, not
Yeah.
months, for years,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's a whole different thing. So, yeah, shout out to him for doing that, man. Cause fucking, if you guys haven't heard the album, check it out, man. It's fucking awesome.
It's
But
pretty good.
yeah, it's fucking awesome. But tell me about your recording process and like how your mindset was in the studio and the things that you were kind of doing and the people you were working with.
Right. So the album is called Dark Premonitions, and a lot of that, like I wanted to sum up the songs as best as I could, and I knew that okay, if I'm going to record these songs, it's it's going to be a sample of what's going to come. So
Yeah.
and the music was already dark, the music was already heavy, the music was already fast as shit, and so I couldn't think of a better name than like Dark Premonitions
Nice.
because it's in the name.
Yeah.
Like here's this dark heavy shit, and then this is just a preview of what's going to come back later.
Yeah.
So like it was a 2-man project. It was myself and my producer Riff,
Nice. Okay.
and the whole process. I would talk to Riff, and I was like, hey dude, like he had approached me about recording an LP because he saw something in me that I didn't. He saw like how I work,
Yeah.
and how like I guess the passion
Heck yeah.
of everything that I was doing, and just the pain and the frustration and everything that went into all of the songs and
Okay.
all the lyrics and stuff. And I guess he saw that, and he was like, hey dude, like we should do an LP.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, cool, let's fucking do it. I've never done this before, but let's fucking
Yeah.
show me the ropes, show me what I need to do, teach me everything that I need to know,
Yeah.
so that the next time I can just come at you with this product. And he 100% babied me through the through the
Nice.
process. And he's like, hey man, like here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna he's like, and and be ready because you're gonna record with 0 distortion. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, right off the top.
Yeah. Dude, that's fucking
I was like,
hard.
what do you fucking mean? And he was like,
Oh, fuck.
and he was like, yeah, dude, like you like this pedal, the HM2 pedal. I
Yeah.
love the chainsaw sound. That's, a signature part of my band, and,
Yeah.
My guitar tone and stuff. And he's like, I know you like this shit, but like, it's way too easy to fuck something up.
Yep.
And it's hard when you do fuck something up. It's hard to hear it. It's hard to catch. So he introduced me to reamping, which I had
Okay.
never done before.
Yeah.
So
Interesting process.
yeah,
Cool stuff. Very
Yeah.
cool stuff.
so so we went up to his place, Riff Audio, up in Burbank, and
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I actually just followed him on IG. I have a homie that was actually recording there this past weekend, which was fucking awesome. But dude, I've heard a lot of good shit about that fucking spot, man. Like really good stuff. Because I know he does like a lot of the punk scene too, right?
yeah,
Okay, hell yeah, dude, that's super cool. So same guy, I know he has some amazing productions going on there as well.
100%.
Hell yeah,
Yeah, and I will
Cool.
take that to the fucking tape right there. Like
Yeah,
you want
heck
to
yeah.
hear good stuff about Riff Audio, I'm your fucking dude, all right?
Yeah,
So
heck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
but yeah, so he's like, hey, so check it out. So like, I'm gonna help you. He's like, I'm gonna produce your songs. And I was like, I don't know what it means to produce.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Well, I came in knowing nothing because I'm used to just doing like EPs,
Yeah.
demos, etc.
Yep.
Playing live. I'm not really like, I wasn't ever really like a professional recording artist or anything like that, or
Yeah.
even like a amateur recording artist. I had like zero. Like I just knew enough to write the songs, play them good, record.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, definitely.
So I had to learn that whole process with riff and asking all the dumb questions and asking, because I remember one time, I'll never forget, he goes, hey man, that's a great vocal track. Do me a favor, let me hear you do it with black metal vocals. And I said, why?
Oh, okay.
And he's like, what do you mean why? I was like, why? I was like, you want me to do this thing for what purpose? And he's like, because it'll sound cool. I was like, no, but explain to me why you think it'll sound cool, because I don't know.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, then he kind of got into it, like,
Yeah.
like, adding layers and stuff, and like it'll have
Yep.
dynamic to your vocals and stuff. And I was like, all right, cool. I was like, all right, cool.
Hell
Okay,
yeah.
now that I know what the purpose is, like, yeah, I'll fucking do it.
Yeah, I think that's such an underlooked thing when it comes to honesty. Like, I guess because like those like recording engineers, they kind of categorize themselves as just recording engineers because they do bands, but the producing element and them having the knowledge
Yeah.
on what to ask of an artist is so important, man.
100%.
Yeah, because like as an artist, sometimes you don't really know. Like we grew up playing fucking music with bands,
Yeah.
and we're just like like just fucking let me put my amp at 5 and fucking play hard and fast and whatever, and then it kind of just goes from there. But having someone to direct you is a whole nother game.
100%.
Yeah, which is fucking awesome. So he did that for you, kind of guided you through the process. And so how was like the recording process when you were kind of like more knowledgeable on what to do and things like that? Did you come to him with more ideas, or how was that?
Yeah. So, when he asked me to record an LP, it's because I had booked him to write. To engineer a single. So I had like 2 songs that I really liked, and I was like, hey man, like, can you do this for me?
Yeah.
And he did, and it was kind of whatever. But then when we started talking about the album, and I was asking all the really fucking dummy rookie questions.
Yeah.
And once I started asking all those dummy and rookie questions, it was one of those things where it was just like, okay, cool. So now I have to write like arrangements.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. Now I have to write a fucking chorus.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, okay, it's like you're throwing a lot on my plate right now, dude.
That shit's fucking hard, bro.
Yeah, and then it was one of those things where it's like, yo, this song goes really hard, but like, where's the hook? Yeah,
Yeah.
this song goes really hard, but like, where's the dynamic?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this song goes really hard, but like, where's the flavor?
Yep.
Where are the spices? Come on. And I was like, it's like you want to put out songs, you want to put out an album,
Yeah.
and that's when it kind of like clicked, and I was like, okay, got it.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, okay, like the wheels started turning, and I was like, all right, cool. And then, when it was closer to recording time, he was like, all right, he's like, all right, let's book some time in December, and show me what you have, and we'll kind of sort through it, and we'll pick out what songs we like, what songs that we think need more work,
Okay.
and etc. So we did this whole like pre-production process where like basically the man riff is so fucking good that I sent him like 15 videos of me playing like songs, just fucking YouTube. Like I had a YouTube playlist,
Yeah.
an unlisted playlist of just like song 1, song 2, song 3, all the way to 15.
Yeah.
And it was just like, hey man, here's what I have. Make it into an album.
Yeah. Fuck, that's cool, man.
And
That's fucking cool.
there's some where he did like a lot of tweaking. There was a good amount, I think, that that he didn't need to like really tweak or anything. It was like, okay, just throw a chorus, or okay, just like, what riff do you like the most? We'll put it here, and then we'll add it again as a chorus later.
Nice.
Or that kind of like behind the scenes stuff that
Yeah.
like not a lot of people are like aware of or wouldn't be open to.
Yeah.
And because like I've met some people that like, oh, they want a producer, but they don't want to be told what to do.
Yeah.
Or like, oh,
That's,
they want a producer, or it's like,
Yeah.
well, but I'm the artist, and like you don't understand. It's like, nah, stupid.
Yeah.
Like you don't understand. Like
That's a very, very interesting topic in itself, because like I feel like I said, kind of like the musician standpoint, you kind of grow up, you play with bands, play shows, and then that's it. But then there's definitely a structure to making songs sound like songs that people will understand. Because I feel like as musicians, we can get fucking way too caught up in our heads.
Yeah.
With like fucking, I love this riff. I love this idea. Let me throw a fucking synthesizer for no reason.
Yeah.
And fucking stupid shit. And then sometimes, like sometimes you gotta fucking pull yourself out, man. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, because I mean, once you get into recording, you can fucking throw as many tracks as you want on there and do all this extra shit. But a producer, a good one, will actually tell you to take away.
Yeah.
Not always add, but take away. Like, hey, that's not really necessary, and shit like that. And that's super cool. I would actually love to meet him one day. Sounds like a super cool cat, because just that whole, I mean, like your album, the way it was produced and stuff is like fucking cool, man.
Oh, thank
like
you.
it's so interesting. I was like, oh fuck. Like I was listening to it with headphones and shit, and I was like, fucking hey, this is wild.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
hell yeah, man. So I believe when was your CD released? Like because I know you released it online, but what did you have a official CD release date or like a show or anything like that?
So we had the LP release show on November 11th,
Okay.
right? Just at the beginning, towards the beginning of the month, and the actual album went live on streaming. I think like October 22nd, something like that, if I recall.
Nice.
Like we put it on a Friday, like most good boys do. You put
Yeah.
your shit out on a Friday.
Yup.
So I think it was October 22nd, and then but yeah, we did like an LP release show over in Long Beach, and we sold out the Supply and Demand in Long Beach.
Fuck
We
yeah.
had 150 heads over there. Like, it was
Hell
crazy.
yeah. That's fucking awesome, man.
And then
That's so sick.
it was ridiculous because and I'll never forget this, and I won't exaggerate this, bro. I was like looking around, like I don't know if you've been to Supply and Demand, but it's like it almost reminds me of what's that? Chain Reaction. It almost reminds me of
Okay.
Chain Reaction,
Yeah.
except with like an outdoor patio,
Okay.
like a bar patio, right? So,
Yeah.
But I was sitting in the corner at one point. I'm actually at multiple points in the show, and I was like, "There's a lot of people here."
Yeah.
I was like, "What's everybody here to see?"
Yeah.
I was like,
You're all questioning it. You're all, wait, hold up, huh?
Yeah, I was like, because Chain Wolf up until summertime has been a one man group.
Okay.
That one man is here,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, wait a sec,
Yeah.
I'm not that popular. What's
Okay.
going on?
Yeah.
Who's selling these tickets?
Yeah.
What tomfoolery is this?
Yeah.
Like I remember I went to my drummer and I was like, hey, like these fools know that they're at the Chain Wolf show, yeah, like. Like they know who's playing.
Yeah.
He's like, "Fool, shut up."
Yeah.
I was like, what do you want me to say, dude? Like,
Fuck yeah, dude.
and it was just our second show,
Yeah.
right? Like the second show we sold out a bar. Like I don't know a lot of bands
Yeah.
that can do that.
Hell yeah, man.
And, you know,
Well, fucking congrats on that, dude. That is
Thanks.
fucking awesome, dude. I know as like a musician, fuck, you never really play for anybody like internally, just as a person, you don't really play for anybody.
Yeah.
Like you write these songs and you write these lyrics just for like fucking it's like a, how do I say it? It's like therapy, Just like,
Yeah.
hey, and then fucking to have people come out to a show and fucking be like, oh fuck, like damn, like they're listening to the music that I wrote in my fucking bedroom by myself, it's a whole different world. But fast forward to Chain Reaction, that was an interesting night. That was super cool, actually. So Chavez actually hit me up to go fix his bass at the show.
this is a nightmare of a story.
Yeah.
This is a worst case scenario.
Tell them how it started. Yeah.
So we were playing our very first show at Catch One in Mid City, Los Angeles, and the night before I was like, all right, well I'm gonna do myself a service and just change the fucking bass strings. Fucking, I've done it 1,000 times.
Yep.
I'll do it 1,000 more times.
Yeah.
I've had zero, I've had zero catastrophic failures like that night. And it was again the night before the show. I changed the strings and I was just like, "What's up with the A string?" And it was just clunk, 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 clunk.
Yep.
And I was like, that's weird, but that sounds like a tomorrow problem.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to go to bed. I have to go to work.
Yep.
So So I was at work.
Yeah.
I was at work and I was on one of my breaks and I was like, let me go check out that bass guitar real quick. And I was like, oh, maybe this string was just too tight. Like,
Yeah.
Like maybe like when it sits in my car, like it'll loosen up and it'll play, the fucking A string will sound like an A string.
Yep.
And I go in and I'm checking my guitar and I'm just clunk, clunk, clunk. And I was like, all right. All right, we got a situation. I'm playing in like 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. That was an interesting day for me, man. I had, I think, like 2 clients cancel. And I think one was supposed to pull in like at 5:30 and he canceled. And I think he had messaged me during the day. And I was like, fucking perfect timing. Like, cool, I can make it out. So, yeah, shout out to fucking Catch One for not letting me in with my shit.
That was ridiculous.
Dude, I was like,
so ridiculous.
What? Like, can I just take a couple tools? And I was out there like before you had went out, and the guy was like, "Nah, bro, we can't fucking let you in like that. I can't fucking let you in." And I was like, all right, fuck it, then I'm gonna wing it in my fucking car. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, man. Dude, so trip out on this. You know that security guard that let me in? The one that was by the gate?
Yeah.
So that dude he worked at the other spot, not Catch One. So when I went back,
the
security guard was like, I'm like, hey man, the gentleman that was here sitting, he's the one that let me in. You know?
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah.
And then the security guard, because I ran to the Guitar Center to grab the strings, whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, he's like, hey, bro, he's not even a part of Catch One. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, how much did you pay him? I'm like, $10, bro. And he's like, yeah, he's not even a part. I can't let you back in. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? And he's like, no, for real, I can't let you in. And he was like, all checking his list off. And he's like, what's your name for the guest list? And I'm like, Jacob. And he's like, fucking funny enough, he's like, oh yeah, there's a Jacob right here.
Son of a bitch.
Dude, and he said the guy's last name, and I was like, oh yeah, that's me. Dude, so I fucking got back in, bro. I was like, hell yeah, fucking. Yeah, but security guards, they have to do their job, but man, sometimes it's just like, bro, lighten up a little bit, man. You just saw me fucking.
Yeah.
I asked your guys, like, or at least what I thought what your guys were, but yeah, that was fucking interesting. But I was glad to be able to like fix it. I know it took me a fucking good amount of time, but my fucking the light in the car was shitty, and then I was like casting shadows, and I'm all trying to hear it, and I'm like, oh fuck, like. But luckily, it was able to go good with the show, and I was fucking happy for you, man. That was a great set too, dude.
Oh,
super cool.
Yo, yeah, because I was like, hey man, like no rush, but like we have sound check in an hour.
Dude, I felt like I was sweating so much, bro. I was like, oh fuck, man, I gotta fucking make sure this shit's done, like, cause the thing was, this is kind of an old school trick. I mean, guys do it nowadays, but normally they'll swap out the nut completely. But I had to fill the nut slot with bone nut.
Right.
And it's the only thing that will like really stick.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was cold, it was like the glue and the bone nut material wasn't gluing down.
Of course not.
So I was just like, fuck. Like I was like trying to like get hot air on there to like fucking get it going, and it wasn't going. And I was like, fuck, man. And then like I think you had walked out like twice or something. And I was like, no, yeah, bro, I need a couple more minutes, like fucking trying to figure it out. But luckily we were good for the show. I've been in a couple fucking binds at shows with guys, and like I'm like, fucking bitch, man. Like I could change a guitar string fucking fast as shit. Like I could do a minor ass repair if needed, like super fast during a song. Like that's not an issue, but shit like that, it takes fucking time. And I'm like, oh man, I hope this fucking works. And when I saw your set, I was like, fucking, we're cool, man. We're fucking cool, But fuck yeah. So after Chain Reaction, what are the other shows you've been playing recently, and where at?
So we just finished our stretch of shows for the year. We started kind of late.
Yeah.
I guess we're late bloomers or whatever, but fucking.
Hell yeah, at least you're doing it, man.
Yeah. So like
Fuck
we played that first show at Catch One. That was for Dia de los Muertos, so that was like November 3rd, the day after.
Nice.
Then we played that sold out show in Long Beach. That was November 11th, and that was at Supply and Demand. And then we just played the first annual Charge Noise Fest, and that was just last Saturday on
Nice.
the 19th.
Okay.
Yeah. So shout out to our boy Zane for fucking putting us on.
Hey,
And,
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
And
But yeah,
how-
man, it was cool. Like our label head, his name's Paul. He and his wife made it to most of the shows, and that was pretty
That's cool.
stoked. And they're always so excited to see me. It's like seeing
Yeah.
family at this point. Like,
That's cool, man.
you know, it's one of those things where it's like, yo, thank you for showing me the faith of like, hey, check out this demo. Like, I'm doing an album.
Nice.
They signed us like sight unseen.
Damn, that's cool, man.
Yeah. So
That's super rad, man. And how were those shows for you? Were you nervous, or, you know, because I know you guys are fairly new playing as a band.
yeah.
So how was that, like practices and stuff?
So the practices I showed everybody exactly how hard I work at practice, and like, yo, these are my standards. Fucking,
Yeah.
your job is to meet them.
Yeah.
So
I know that sounds so abrupt, but I can fucking get that shit, man, because
Yeah.
there's a difference between a musician and a musician. Like, it's extremes where, like, you hear a lot of guys saying like, oh yeah, I play like you know, like once a year type
Yeah.
of shit, and then you hear the guy that's disciplined and, you know, has the work ethic and shit, and he's like, yeah, I play every other weekend, I do this, record and all that. It's a whole different mindset, man. So how were the guys when you told them that?
So I was blessed and fortunate to have the drummer that I have. His name's Gio,
Okay.
and he used to play in bands like Merciless Death.
Okay.
He used to play in band called Dismantle. You know, all extreme music, all like exactly what we needed for a fucking drummer. And then right now he's playing with a band called Velocity.
Okay.
And then same thing, they're a great. They're pretty much our brother band since we share fucking members and stuff. But like,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're like a great speed metal, heavy metal band. Fucking ripping solos. Like, those dudes are talented together.
Fuck.
So I wasn't worried about Gio very much. And then we have our guitar player Alan, who that dude plays in like crust bands. And when I met him, he was a drummer.
Okay.
He was a drummer who just played guitar in a doom metal band. And I was like, oh, doom metal, like, that's easy.
Yeah.
I was like, I can do doom metal. Like,
Yeah.
but he's not to dismiss his guitar playing, because obviously he plays guitar for Chain Wolf.
Yeah.
You know, but like when I met him, he was a drummer who played guitar on the side, and I was like, all right, cool, whatever, man.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think fucking a few months ago before summer, he was like, hey dude, like, I don't want to drum. Can I play guitar? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, man. I was like, that's actually really good timing, because I just met this dude
Yeah.
who wants to play drums.
Yeah.
Or actually, because like Gio, when he hit me up on Instagram, he wanted to play guitar.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I was like, well, I know this dude's like a better drummer. Like, maybe I can talk him into playing drums. And
Yeah.
maybe I can talk my drummer into playing guitar. And
Damn, everything just fucking panned out on that one.
yeah, I just got fucking lucky. And then
Hell yeah.
and then you know, there's myself just playing bass and just kind of bringing everything. And it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, look, like, I did my part. I wrote the shit. I recorded the shit.
Yeah.
Like, I made videos, and I made a video playlist of tutorials. Like,
Nice.
watch the videos. And I'm like, oh, but what if? I was like, just watch the videos.
Yeah.
You know, hey, Chavez, so I was looking at the video. Just watch the video, dude.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah,
I
and
feel
it
that,
was just
man.
one of those things. And it's like, all right, you watch the videos, cool, band practice time.
Yeah.
And then it was just dialing shit in. You know, so.
That's rad, man. So, fast forward to now, what are you working on? What do you see for the future for Chain Wolf and you?
So, we're already working on album 2.
Nah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the album's only been out for a month, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, I was like, hey guys, so like, since we're not doing anything for the rest of the year, like, I have like 6 songs that I want to work on.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, come on, They're like, come on, dude, the album's not even done. We haven't even toured on it yet. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I know, but like, I got these 6 songs, and I think they're cool.
Hell yeah, man.
So,
Dude, fuck it.
Yeah,
Go
so that's-
hard, man. Go hard.
so we're definitely writing music, and we're definitely like, we have this single that we're gonna put out on a compilation. The track is called "Killed in 9," and that's the song that we close with.
Okay.
So you've heard the song,
Yeah.
And that one we were gonna do on a compilation with Riff, because it hit everybody really hard when the Supreme Court voted to ban abortion,
Okay.
and that song is very much a pro-abortion song. You know, in case you can't tell, the track's called Kill the Nine. You know,
Okay.
in reference to the 9 members of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And that one was like, that's such a fucking banger. It's a bummer we didn't write it when the album was coming out.
Yeah.
And then we were gonna put it on this compilation, and the compilation never came out because not enough bands were interested, which I thought was weird as fuck. I was like, yo, how are we in a community of like heavy metal dudes, in a community of like punk rockers, in a community of people that are into hardcore, and they're all like, you know, like extremely left winging and stuff, but like there's not enough bands that want to make a stance, that want to make a take an opinion and say that, you know, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
And so we're just like, okay, well, if we're not gonna, I was like, all right, well, I guess we know the first single for album 2.
Yeah.
You know, like
fuck yeah, dude, that's awesome, man.
So we're definitely already working on album 2, and so far as the future's concerned, like I think a good chunk of 2023 we're gonna try and dictate towards touring and being out on the road and stuff. So that's kind of like the, I don't want to say the big picture, but definitely like the broad stroke of what we want to do.
Nice.
So we want to hit the road. We want to promote this album while still like taking some time on the back end to like write these tracks and play heavier and faster.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, dude, it was a freaking pleasure having you on here today. Let everybody know your social media so they can follow you, the band, and
Word. We're on Instagram at ChainXWolfX. We have a Bandcamp that I don't update. Chainwolf.bandcamp.com.
Okay, sick.
And then obviously we're on Spotify, Apple Music, and we're on Venmo.
Hey,
so
there it is.
Take the hint, all right?
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to episode 3. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.